जय जय श्याम निताय गौरांग भगवान जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आजानुलंबित भुजौ कनकावदातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील श्रीपाद गुरु महाराज की जय। निताय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Welcome everyone to this transcendental program of studying Bhagavad Dharma to the highest level. Studying the Sikshastakam prayers of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the latest version of the manifestation of Godhead on earth. And we can feel so fortunate, very fortunate, to be connected to the lineage through which the kripa, the mercy flow of Mahaprabhu and his teachings come. And so it is imperative for all of us to understand very properly means one is said to have understood something very properly only if one is able to benefit from it to the utmost, isn't it? To the level of one's potential. So after understanding the message and the special gift of Mahaprabhu, which he really so fervently wanted to distribute and give to every conditioned soul of this material world, every human being, rather, And if we, in spite of coming across his teachings and his mercy, and in spite of having understood how great it is, still if we hang on to our lower interest in this material world and never be able to develop the higher taste for such a priceless gift, such a priceless treasure, which is in accordance to our Swarupa, our eternal identity as eternal part and parcel servant of Krishna. That's a very serious thing, How otherwise? Why would it would mean that the Lord has made so much endeavor to accomplish something, to do something, and he has failed. So do we as a sadhaka want to fail our Lord? That should be the guiding or the very motivating principle. Will I'm not responsible for the actions of others, of course, we say that too. But I'm definitely responsible for my own actions, my own thoughts, my own speech, my own actions. So, considering, like every human being considers oneself a very intelligent being, so being a very intelligent being, would I like to, can I afford to have that stigma of underperforming or underachieving? We cannot. Even if somebody calls, or if we are labeled ever as underperformer or underachiever, it is a stigma, isn't it? That we have been stigmatized since eternity. We have only underperformed and underachievers. But this is our opportunity to break through from that underachieving, underperforming syndrome. and attain the perfection of our human potential. And just for that thing, we are we have been so blessed to be living in a human form life, connected to the time of Mahaprabhu's advent. Just five, not even 600 years, not even 550 years. Mahaprabhu is just around the corner in the time spectrum of eternity. What is 520, 30 years? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Maybe 500, yeah, something. So it's a very serious subject matter. As much as we appreciate Mahaprabhu's advent, as much as we appreciate his special gift, what is the value of our appreciation if we are not able to benefit from it ultimately? Ultimately is at most. Ultimately, if we don't aspire, if our only hankering does not become what Mahaprabhu, the gift which Mahaprabhu has come to give, then we are not benefiting from Mahaprabhu ultimately. Isn't so? Sometimes words come out of the mouth spontaneously, and some, even when they came just 2 minutes ago, right now, even if I want to repeat them in 2 minutes, I may I may not, they may not come out. So sometimes when the Lord inspires you to speak something, it is just it intrigues yourself. It's not that many times we speak words so wonderful. It's very very amazing. You can feel as a listener, not as a speaker, as a listener, we find it very. But because just because the words came out of the speaker's mouth does not mean that he has got it. We still fall far short of what we are meant to, what we are supposed to, in order to attain the perfection of our human potential. So with this thought, because studying Sikshastakam, we covered 6 slokas, and now 7th and 8th sloka, they are taking us to the Prem Bhakti. We are far behind it. We are not even in the stage of Bhava Bhakti, what to speak about. But still, Prem Bhakti is the goal, because merely coming to the stage of Bhava, if the Bhava does not become condensed, it does not achieve the level of Prema. At the stage of Bhava, it is not as Tos means Ghanibhut, means condensed. At the stage of Prema, there is no leakage out of here. One is connected to that realm. Even while living here, in consciousness, one is completely submerged in the thought of the divine. At the stage of Bhava also, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the story of Bharat Maharaj. Even at the stage of Bhava, it was somehow, when in the stage of Bhava or in the mood of Bhava, he's safe already, but when Bhava does not last forever, there's a break in between. And during that break, that accident happened where he had to take birth again. But in the level of love, the absorption is incessant. There is no other thought entertained even. That is the point. So that is the fortune which we are going to be blessed with. That should be our target. And how much prepared we should be. What will cause our incessant motivation? And that's why in Sikshastakam, as I studied, we studied scientifically what comes out that the third and the fourth sloka of Sikshastakam, they are most critical. In the third sloka, as we said, that third sloka was compared to the divine medicine, isn't it? And the fourth sloka was the precaution. Unless both are combined together, it would be difficult to reach the ultimate destination. So in that regard, before we address this, the seventh and eighth sloka of Prema Bhakti, it is very essential to just recap the attitude which is expressed as the medicine, third sloka, and the fourth sloka is the precautions. One may have the perfect attitude apparently, but unless that attitude really changes our heart, frees our heart completely from the unwanted, puts us in the hankering of love of Krishna, love of Sri Radha Dashyam. But maybe apparently engage in sadhana bhajan, apparently in the perfect mood of Trinadapi Sunichena. Still, it's quite possible that a sadhaka may be stuck in the hankering for the mundane. Correct? That's why we have to, as a sadhaka, prepare very much. Although we are going to start targeting the Prema Bhakti stage of this sadhana, but we should not think that the path will be very smooth. So many troubles may come from outside, even in common exchange, in common behavior. Even devotees face, Hare Krishna devotees get a lot of obstacles, lot of opposition, lot of tribulations, etc. Do we back out from there? No. But collectively, we can handle them, correct? But ultimately, it boils down to individually. That is the point. Every sadhaka, collectively, we can benefit a lot from others as a protective or, not so lonely. But ultimately, our hankering to attain Sri Radha Rashyam, the journey is alone. Others can benefit, but ultimately the fervor is individual. So, how we will handle all these things? So many things can come and dissuade us from this path. So many forms of hindrances and opposition will come and try to attack us, create hindrances, dissuade us from this path. But we must practice forbearance, like that of a tree. Why? In today's studying Prem Bhakti stage of this Krishna consciousness, even before studying, we better be prepared with this understanding that are we ready for it? Or we will just study this just for the sake of information gathering, and we never find ourselves really a genuine candidate for it. That would be a tremendous loss. What is use of having information about the most precious thing without being able to have it, without having the possibility of ever having it? So that there's a big gap between having the information alone and having that thing, the most precious thing, as we can appreciate even theoretically. Would that suffice to appreciate the most precious thing, or the potentially what is the highest perfection of our human potential, and not go for it, not being able to have it? That is the thing. So that's why when the forbearance, how much ready we should be to go forward in spite of having so many obstacles. So in third sloka, when the example of a tree is given, it shows a lot of things. A tree is without resistance is giving everything. Although it gives the shade and the fruits, even if somebody cuts, throws the stone, anything. So tree seems to have like no purpose, correct? What else can tree do, having some forbearance? But we as sadhak, we need to, tree is just an example, it stands out, but we should be ready for greater forbearance. Taro rapi sahishnuna, greater forbearance than tree. To what end? What could be the motivation to have more forbearance, more tolerance than a tree? Have we ever thought about this? Did we? For oneself, and again we said, for oneself, one should have that much forbearance. But if the injustice is inflicted upon others, other sadhakas, or other people, or blaspheming against the Lord or Krishna's pure devotees, then one must not show so-called forbearance or tolerance and doing nothing in the name of forbearance. It is only for oneself, See the favor, and to be able to see the favor. If others are opposing me in all these things, one should be able to see they are doing us a favor because they are testing us. Now the thing is, without the test, how we will be able to see? How others would be able to see? But, how through this test we become determined passing through this test. So the thing is, we should try to see how all these things are coming to test us. And tests purify us, tests enhance our potential. If we pass the test, if we pass the hurdle of the test, we feel that they were, one will see as a mercy. Or rather, are we or have we been greedy enough to get to our goal despite all the hurdles and everything? Greed will depend on two factors as to how precious is the object we are greedy after and the feasibility and the possibility, conviction of the possibility of getting it. Two things are required. The object of our greed has to be very precious in our estimation, most precious, of course, and the possibility of our being able to get it. So, Mahaprabhu has given us the process of the certainty of achieving that highest object, and that after becoming the object of our greed. So we can check ourselves. Are we or have we been greedy enough to get it? Or we will just show the lethargy, like in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, there is a story of an astrologer who met a very poor person. All these things we are discussing, we are speaking about ourselves. I'm speaking about myself. Whether I'm speaking about others or you, I don't know. One has to individually oneself analyze this thing. So the astrologer comes, why are you so poor? In your hand lines, I see a tremendous fortune. You simply have, and the person who is destitute, living in like a destitute. He's thinking, come on, what are you talking? And he got so much used to the destitute, his destitute conditioning. But still, he finds it, he is amused by the foretelling of the astrologer. He says, "Ah, your forefathers have left tremendous treasure, and somehow in due course of time, events happen, everything was lost and forgiven. But if you search out like this and this, there's a particular story with relating to the Bhakti Yoga, of course. You all must have read this. The whole idea is now the astrologer shows him the process whereby he can be super rich and be freed from his destitute condition forever. Now that endeavor, now how much inclined is the person who is living like a destitute to gain a very super rich position? A person who has been so used to begging, what they day by day, and just got used to. If he's given the dream that you are a billionaire, how will he feel? Most of the sadhakas condition is like that. Most of sadhakas are plagued with the disease of lethargy. He cannot, even if he is given, oh, there is a way to become a billionaire, he says, oh, I don't. But this path of Krishna consciousness is making you, connecting it to the unlimited near Krishna. How fascinated should we be? On the material platform, somebody is a millionaire or billionaire, he's stuck here. So his stake is very high for him to make a go for Krishna consciousness, or to sacrifice this much wealth, material platform. It's a very big thing. It's very, very difficult. But our stake is very little. We should really be able to go for full phase in Krishna consciousness. There is no time and space for lethargy for us, because we have very little. We are holding on to give up and gain the unlimited. It's a most profitable proposition made to us by Mahaprabhu. It's a most profitable exchange. So we, in our present conditioning, in present life, we stand the best opportunity since eternity to go full-fledged for it. Through Krishna consciousness, we have been connected to the highest object of life, the highest possible fulfillment of life. What price are we ready to pay for that? Should be any price, correct? But only price is full surrender. Full surrender means whatever we have the sense of possession, I possess this much money, this much wealth, this much education, this much position, power, Janma, Ishwara, Shruti, Shri, beauty, everything, which is very minimum. We are still hankering for more material accomplishments, correct? Right now, we have very little. So if the option is given, either you want to go for to be a millionaire or billionaire, or you want to become Yatin Radha Rashyam. So the choice should be no-brainer, actually. And the thing is that one has to be able, prepare to sacrifice everything for that sake. Atma Samarpan. Sacrifice means one has to become someone's, one has to become just as ultimately we are Krishna's, we are Sri Radharani's. Na? So What is the process of becoming Krishna's or Radharani's? We have to identify, we have to spot the person who has become Sri Krishna's or Sri Radha's. That's the, and then becoming his means then everything which we have becomes his or hers, isn't it? Atma Samarpan means we don't hold back anything, consider this is mine. When I have become someone's, everything which is mine becomes also his or hers, isn't it? Get the point? So our stake is very little, and we are connected to the highest object of life, the highest fulfillment of life. What price I should be ready? Any price. Any price means complete. Rather, we should be ready to pay any price, but if we have lot of price to pay, we may be so much attached to the wealth and accomplishments and prestige and power position of this world. It is inconceivable. Whatever little demands may the environment want to extract from us, let it take it. We must accept with a smiling face, considering the highest, the higher treasure it is. So the motivation, like in the material world, if one would do anything, why would make any sacrifice anyway? When a person makes a sacrifice, his target is to get greater treasure. If a person is doing some karma kand or some anushthan or some work to get a better situation in the future, correct? Anything. So it is not that one would do anything without any purpose. Some people say, oh, we are doing selfless work, but by becoming selfless, one feels great, one feels very happy, one feels superior, one feels very nice. So if one wants to feel the best, one has to target, one has to desire, one has to hanker, one has to be greedy after Sri Radha Dashyam. That's the point. So which is a better option, to be selfless or to be transferred as a choicest kinkari, maid servant of Srimati Radharani? It's a no-brainer, correct? So we are discussing the highest point of Krishna consciousness, and to target it single pointedly, we should be prepared that much, correct? So let everybody get, so that we can remain free, because if the opposition, if the things come in the sense of oppositions or insults or poverty, even punishment, or so many unfavorable dealings, even by our fellow people, a truly awakened soul in Krishna consciousness will see these are necessary. These are necessary to purify me, to test me. We don't fight back. There's no point in fighting back, unless someone else is hurt, or someone else is injustice. Then, if you have the power and authority, within your power and authority, you should do something to expose the wrongdoing. Right? But as far as it comes to oneself, one should be letting it go. Okay, let them let them face the punishment or injustice or defame, whatever. It's fine, because I don't want to get stuck there dealing with it and counter attacking or counter like that. I have to keep it targeting and envisioning always the Sri Radha Dashyam. That much readiness a sadhaka should have. And Our position is what? Our position is a beggar. Another point we must be very, very conscious of. Beggar still, but what kind of beggar? Although I am a beggar, but what kind of beggar? We are begging the highest thing. So one need not be ashamed of being a beggar. You know, highest thing, the priceless thing. Priceless means we do not have the capacity of power or the way to achieve the qualification to attain that priceless thing through our own endeavors. So certain thing, it is so priceless, it can be only begged. So there is no need to be ashamed of begging because we are begging the highest thing. So let no disturbance dissuade me from my attempt in becoming successful in begging. What is success? Being successful in begging? The thing which we are begging from, we become successful, we get it. So the act of begging should not make us ashamed of, but rather it should be, we should perfect the art of begging. So doing all these things at the same time, like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, text number 14, if I remember rightly, or what is it? Yashmanno dvijate loka lokano dvijate sache harshamasya bhayodvega yuktaman sacha me priya. Krishna says, those who don't cause any disturbance to others, nor does he become disturbed by others. Harsha, harsha udvega. In happiness and in distress, harsha is bhayodvega. Harsha, marsha, bhayodvega. One who is equal, or I don't know the exact word, one word is missing. Harsha, marsha, bhayodvega. Yuktiman, or not something else. Such a me priya. Krishna says he is very dear to me. So all the time we have to be remindful of this sloka of Bhagavad Gita 12.14 because it gives a clear check, puts a clear check on our attitude and the way we deal, the way we think, the way we speak, the way we'll act. It will check us. It will such is my thinking pleasing to Krishna? Is my speaking like this pleasing to Krishna? Is my acting like this pleasing to Krishna? If Krishna says those things in a devotee are dear to me, so we want to endear ourselves to Krishna, correct? That should be the motivation. So it's the guiding instruction, and especially our sadhana through and through will be based on Nama Sankirtanam. We cannot do away, no matter how advanced. Nama Sankirtan or chanting is incorporated in our sadhana, like the pearl strung through a thread. No? So all our other aspects of the Krishna consciousness would be strung around the thread of Nam Sankirtanam. That we must take the position. And what is the position? Our position, we should be very proud or thrilled by the position which Mahaprabhu has given us, our identification. Gopi bhartu pada kamalayo dasa dasan dasa. Dasa means slave, literally. Slave of the slave of the slave of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you want to chant the name of Krishna, then if I want to chant the name of Krishna, I cannot afford to waste the time. the energy, with the trifling things of this world. I cannot afford to allow my attention to be disturbed by teeny acquisitions. Teeny acquisitions. What are the teeny acquisitions? Prestige, power and position. Are they teeny acquisitions? Well, we give such a high level to them to have the prestige, worldly prestige, of course. I want to be celebrated as a great devotee, as a pure devotee, among others. Is that worldly prestige or spiritual prestige? Spiritual prestige is to become free from these hankerings completely. So these are the three P's one should avoid: the hankering for prestige, hankering for power and positions. So all these this prestige, position, power, they put us in an advantageous position in this material world. Advantageous position, like some kind of mental or physical comfort, having more money, or like it's comparable to the, if one has lots of money, then one can get lots of these things, purchase these things. But that will give us the sense of accomplishment of this worldly. It will keep us stuck here. So we have to do away with these things. What will keep us motivated to go for the real thing which we have been discussing? Only reminder, constantly remembering that I am trying for the greatest thing. Can we say individually? Because I'm targeting the greatest thing, and all other things are very small in comparison to Krishna consciousness. Can we say this? Because I'm trying for the greatest thing, and all other things are very small, very trivial in comparison to the highest perfection of our human potential, Sri Radha Dashyam. Krishna consciousness has become such a vague or general term. Unless we very much specify it, what does it mean? That's why we again and again say Sri Radha Dashyam. In comparison to Radha Dashyam, all other things, they're so trivial, so small. It's a no-brainer to make the choice between the two. So I cannot afford to waste my time and energy and valuable. I have to be very economical, so that I can wholeheartedly and single-pointedly target the highest goal of life. And I have the chance in this life to achieve it. I'm speaking to myself. I'm not an instructor. I'm just trying to instruct myself. And, if this trying to imbibe this instruction, if it helps others to imbibe, this is always welcome. But thing is, what we are discussing today, the highest stage or the ultimate stage of this path of pure devotional service, it's a very, very sublime. We all have the chance to achieve the highest goal of our life. And now, coming to this last two slokas of Sikshastakam. Mahaprabhu is just expressing his mood, and in the mood is expressed his feeling and attitude. You know, the feeling of separation, the intense feeling of separation where everything appears hopeless. Till now we have heard tremendous hopefulness. There's no iota of hopelessness in this path. We have been speaking, understanding, appreciating this very much, but today we will have to go through this this feeling utter hopelessness. It's very, very excruciating. What is the word? I don't know. It's very amazing. But it is part of it is part of the progressiveness. That's the thing. We have come this far. We have come this far and there is no backing out. That is what we are going to discuss. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. O Govinda, yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. In separation of you, without you. Separation means without you. The whole world is shunyaitam, like nothing doesn't exist. We will discuss today the biggest paradox, biggest possible paradox on this path of Krishna consciousness through the expression of Mahaprabhu. He said, without you, the whole world is empty. If you are not there, without you, a whole world is empty. Even the world outside, which exists as it is, doesn't exist. What does it mean? It appears as null and void, as if. Chakshusha pravishaitam. Tears are flooding my eyes like rain. Shunyaitam jagasarvam. Yugaitam. Like a yuga. Yuga means long time, you can say. It has different definitions under different contexts. Yuga also means the period of whole yuga cycle. Kalpa, it may also mean like 12 years. Different interpretation of but general meaning is, common meaning is, it's a long period. Without being able to see Krishna, the whole world is empty, tears are flowing, I'm crying and crying, but in hopelessness, in the feeling of hopelessness, in the feeling of one feels time is lasting forever. You know. So that is the expression in today's sloka. What basically Mahaprabhu is trying to say. So 12 years, this sometimes in certain version, this Yugaitam is translated like 12 years. You know, Mahaprabhu passed this time in isolation in Gambhira during the last 12 years in this kind of fervor. Can you imagine? Mahaprabhu passed 12 years at least of incessant separation, mood of separation. How he survived, one only wonders. If one is hankering so intensely for something, if he's not getting it, then relief is death. If one dies, then it's tremendous relief. But if dying is the option, if the hope is to meet the beloved, so the hope or the treasure of being able to find the pleasing of the Supreme or Lord or the object of our greed, outclasses or outclasses the tolerance of the feeling of pain of separation. This is how he survived even during this tremendous time of agony, feeling the intense pain of separation of Krishna in Radha Bhava. Of course, Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impossible is nothing for him. He bore this pain. He tolerated this tremendous pain. And, but so the hope is so intense that someday, although one feels tremendous, no, when that day will be mine, He gopi janavallabha vyathayati ahamada shaiva. I have tremendous hope that I will definitely, you will show your mercy to me. I will definitely become the recipient of your ultimate mercy. You will definitely accept me in your embrace. You will definitely accept me in the service of your lotus feet. Correct? But when will that happen? When that day will be mine? But this hope, this undying hope that you will definitely bestow your special mercy, means you will certainly fulfill the my innermost my heart's innermost aspiration. You will fulfill. This hope is undying. So in spite of facing such hopeless situation, one is not able to die. So he will rather continue suffering like this than to give the hope, even in the most hopeless situation. That is the position of a devotee. So, just in connection to Mahaprabhu, this sloka is spoken by Mahaprabhu. So, the 12 years, because Mahaprabhu had that much in the mood of Srimati Radharani for 12 years, intense separation from Krishna. So, millennium age is the basic point, as we discuss, is that unlimited time, very long time, appears like forever. One moment seems like an unlimited period of time. And during this time, what is at my disposal or at the disposal is only shedding tears. Nothing else. There's nothing else I can do except the shedding tears. What kind of situation to survive? Like the rainy season produces so many floods, and now it seems to me that my eyes are flooding incessantly. If the eyes is, then what happens? The scene becomes, the things to be seen from the eyes become blurred, invisible. That is a position Mahaprabhu said. Although the world exists, but because my eyes are constantly flooding due to the expressing the pain or agony or the joy, whatever. We'll discuss the joy aspect also. The inner feeling is causing his eyes to flood constantly. And constantly, when something becomes invisible for whatever reason, for such a long time, then one starts feeling that the world has become zero, nothing exists for him. So that is the situation of Mahaprabhu, that my eyes are flooding. The visible is becoming invisible to me. I'm so withdrawn from the present whatever environment, that I cannot see anything. That is Mahaprabhu's position. My mind feels so much internal attraction or absorption in Krishna, so much obsessed with the thought of Krishna. You know, when the obsession becomes so intense, everything else appears non-existent. Correct? This is the, this is why Mahaprabhu says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam. The whole world appears to me like zero. Zero means no variegatedness. Correct? Everything else becomes like same. Zero. No variegatedness. Because variegatedness can cause the distraction. But something is appears as same or zero or one, then it appears like zero. To say that, to say zero or one, like Buddhists say, one has to become zero. Buddhists and Jainis, they say to become non-existent is the goal of life, that nirvana. And the Mayavadis say no, everything is Brahma. So their conclusion is the same. Whether to call everything is zero or to say everything is one without any variegatedness. But it is very difficult to prove that everything is one. Because how can you hide the vision from your senses, from your eyes? You can feel the variegatedness through the senses, like from your eyes or the nose or the ears. We experience, we feel the variegatedness. So we cannot. It is more difficult to establish that everything is one than to appreciate everything is zero. Both are very difficult, correct? But at least Mahaprabhu is saying, Mahaprabhu is giving his agreement that for him, this world appears to be zero, but in the context of his obsession to Krishna. Can you see the difference? Mahaprabhu is not saying that everything is one. So you have no other choice, just to accept the one. Only one meal or one item you can eat, one means it is something, but something means now you will go for that one thing. But zero, you have nothing to go for. See the context, the difference, subtle difference between zero and one. Mahaprabhu chose zero. I would rather have everything else become zero so that I can still remain focused, fully absorbed, obsessed in Krishna. Not an option for one. So that's why it says that my mind feels so much internal attraction towards the center of the infinite, Krishna, that whatever I cast my glance, because Krishna is hiding, Krishna is playing hide and seek. So although his eyes is searching for Krishna, but Krishna not appearing, everything else appears zero. What a tremendous position to be. I see nothing. Everything appears vacant because I feel as if Govinda is the source of all variegatedness, source of all rasa, source of all smell, vision, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasgan, the objects of our senses. Krishna is the ultimate object to find the attraction in Krishna. And without Govind, everything else becomes null and void. That is the expression Mahaprabhu. So such a peculiar sort of feeling is within me, Mahaprabhu is saying. I have no interest whatsoever in anything else. All my interest is drawn towards Krishna, Govinda. So the word Govinda is very interesting. Govinda, one who gives joy to, Govinda alone gives the fulfillment to all my senses. In Radha Bhava, Mahaprabhu is expressing. Mahaprabhu is speaking Govinda. Govinda is the ultimate, most internal, most intimate name of Krishna. Do we know this? Govind is the most rasamay, because the literal meaning Govind means, Go means the senses, Vind means which cause the joy or fulfillment or anand. So everybody is hankering for anand, so is Mahaprabhu, so is Radharani, and the source of Radharani's fulfillment is Krishna, Govinda. That's why the name addresses Govinda. And Mahaprabhu is experiencing like Radharani in that ultimate sense. And to what degree his attention, his interest is in Krishna, in Govinda, such a degree that he's saying, I'm a stranger to my present environment. I have nothing, no consciousness. It has gone somewhere else towards the infinite. No Govind, nothing else. Everything becomes like non-existent, zero. So this is where the biggest paradox comes. So the Mahaprabhu is tremendously obsessed in Krishna. So how can there be anything other than Krishna in his thought? But still he's telling that everything else is shunyam, non-existent, nothing. So the whole idea is, this is the nature, this is the position which a devotee, pure devotee experiences. That when the obsession is there for Krishna, why would anything anyway make any sense or bother or not bother even? But Mahaprabhu is telling the whole world appears to be non-existing, shunya. That means as a teaching, Mahaprabhu is telling that we have to put zero value to this world or to the environment which has caused our obsession here. Obsession for this world is so prevalent, it's all pervading attraction to this world. We are so used to it. So we have to raise our consciousness to the level of which Mahaprabhu is hinting. We are left with no obsession for this world. So on one side, if one is obsessed with Krishna, where is the question of having any other feeling, even to calling this world as shunya? Obsession with Krishna makes one fully absorb only in Krishna. But Mahaprabhu, for our benefit, is telling that we have to come to that standard. We have to free ourselves from the even residual impressions of this obsession for this world, attraction for this world. We have to come to that level of obsession for Krishna, obsession for Sri Radha Dashyam, that this world no more remains a distraction for us. For Mahaprabhu, in Radha Bhavam, our absorption, Krishna is so absolute that nothing else is really there. But even to call the world shunyam, it is as a sadhaka he's appearing, he's telling us, he's expressing for us. If something is to be emulated, from the expression of Mahaprabhu in this verse, it is just how much is possible. This is possible to feel like that. Like the example is given when there is a drought. No? When there is a drought, what happens? Everything dries up. the rivers, the ponds, and all the source of, because the heat is so intense, everything just dries up, goes in the sky. Can you? Because the whole water has gone in the sky. People look up to the sky. Do you know that? During those years, people in desperation just look at the sky. Oh, sky. When he will pour the mercy like this. So water is drawn towards the upward or gas world. Water becomes dried up. Nowhere is there's a drop of water to be found. So it is something like that. Can you imagine? Put in situation. Everything else becomes empty. All charm, all target is withdrawn so extensively that everything is empty. Like the senses, the mind, and everything else has been drawn up, attracted, total obsession, absorption in Krishna. There is no distraction. Because the charm of Krishna to our senses, to the mind, and everything else, who can stand in front of Krishna's attraction? That is the potential. That is the potential of Krishna's charm. How much how much we can be charmed by Krishna's attraction. That is the potential. So here, to an awakened soul of sadhaka, the challenge is Krishna is all attractive. Brahmaji says Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya. In other places different. Bilmanga Thakur has that level of attraction. What to speak of the attraction of Krishna for Radharani? And where do we stand? How much we are attracted by the all attractive? How much credit we can really give wholeheartedly to Krishna's all attractiveness, all charming, all sweet Krishna. Krishna is so obsessively attractive to the gopis and to Srimati Radharani. Where do we stand? The gap is big, na? Big gap between our attraction for Krishna or Krishna's entourage. So that gap, Mahaprabhu is just filling in the sense of the possibility, the sense of when he will meet Krishna and right now in separation. Like so many millennia. Just as there's a big gap between our attraction towards Krishna, my attraction towards Krishna compared to how much attraction Krishna is worthy of being attractive. How much credit we can truly give Krishna as to how attractive he is from my point of view, from my experience. And the potential attractiveness of Krishna is experienced by Mahaprabhu Radharani. Correct? So when we appreciate the capacity of Radharani, capacity of Mahaprabhu, that makes us, that causes, that may cause the fascination to attend Sri Radha Dashyam, because Radharani is so great. Radharani is so capable to experience the all attractiveness of Krishna greater than even Krishna can achieve or Krishna can experience. So rather than trying to become like Radha is the highest devotee, it would be the best choice for all of us to appreciate Srimati Radharani so much so that we want to become her maid. Makes sense? And that desire would cause the highest perfection of our human potential. Rather than becoming a direct devotee of Krishna, if you can appreciate the highest nature of Radharani's love for Krishna, then we would rather want to become her maid servant than be called as independent servant or lover of Krishna, so called. So our love for Godhead, ultimately the meaning of love means to impress Krishna. No? If Krishna is the object of everyone's love, then from our capacity, from our side, in our position as a one particle of the tatastha or marginal potency of Krishna, what will Krishna be most pleased with us? And that revelation, that exposure is made by Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is telling Krishna will be most pleased with all of us. If we can attain, if we can aspire, we can go for Sri Radha Dashyam. So that's why to attain the status of Radha Dashyam is the highest culmination or the highest stage of love of God. As far as our position, our adhikar, which is within our adhikar, which is within. So from that point of view, we can appreciate. So devotee things like this. But Mahaprabhu is expressing, because in Radha Dashyam, our expression can be little modified. No? Because although Mahaprabhu is expressing the fervor as a devotee, but his fervor is identical to Radharani's. That we should not try to imitate or hanker like that. So our hankering should be, when will we meet, have the darshan of Srimati Radharani, when we will hear Radharani calling us, come, why are you crying for me? I'm here for you, like that. So devotee thinks like that. But in this sense of separation makes him feel so hopeless. But what to do? The time is passing, and all the passing, but hardly passing. One nimesh, one moment appears like 12 years or yuga or whatever. It's still a big gap. No? And faint remembrance, especially here, the feeling of Radharani. Radharani has the feeling of meeting with Krishna, correct? But now she has to go through this suffering of separation. So she thinks that, yes, I had some union with Krishna, but that is gone long time ago. Because what was in the past, it has no relevance. Because the experience of joy or fulfillment is a present thing. Can we call anything which happened so joyful, wonderful of the past, and we are left in suffering in the present moment? Does the previous feeling of happiness can give us any solace or any assurance of experiencing joy in the present? Well, if the hopelessness or if the re-meeting is not coming any soon or not certain, then it appears like a very long time. So Mahaprabhu is thinking that in Radha Bhadan, I left that meeting with Krishna, that feeling, that joy, far behind. So far off that it appears to be an unlimited gap of time. Yes, I had a faint recollection like in Spurti, when Mahaprabhu had this vision, whenever he would see the tamal tree, he think, oh, I saw Krishna, Radharani just running after the tamal tree. And she, seeing the cloud reminds her of Krishna. Strong indication that Krishna is there. Yes. So anything. So the faint recollection is there, but now is gone. Every time Radharani has the misgiving of thinking that tamal tree is Krishna or cloud is Krishna or anything. And but it doesn't last very long. It's gone, and it appears that Krishna is not to be found. He feels such a great degree of disappointment and despair. So through the mood of Mahaprabhu's or whatever he experiences, and there's a teaching that a sadhaka should also think that I'm far away from Krishna, or Krishna is far away from me. Which is better? I'm far away from Krishna, or Krishna is far away from me? Both both sound one and the same, correct? But there's a subtle difference. To think that Krishna is far away from me, or to think that I am far away from Krishna. So Krishna is far away from me. The blame is on Krishna, correct? But to appreciate that I am far away from Krishna because I'm so fallen. I'm so whatever. But that sense of feeling incapacitated draws us near to Krishna. More we feel like that I'm so far away from Krishna. Mahaprabhu's teaching uh, teaches us this, to think that I'm so far away from Krishna. So I'm totally depending on the mercy of Krishna. Shortcoming is on my side. But in saying that Krishna is far away from me, so I'm putting the onus on Krishna. Okay, Krishna, I'm ready for you, but you are only far away, so it's your fault. Correct? See the connotation which changes. Every word, every expression of thought has apparent and internal meaning. These are different, but it determines the attitude. What kind of meaning we appreciate will determine our attitude towards Krishna. So Mahaprabhu is feeling that unlimited gap of time between union and with Krishna, but now the feeling the pain of separation. And when he loses the sight of Krishna or even the glimpse of Krishna, he feels that he has lost Krishna forever. Such a great degree of disappointment and despair. To attain the infinite world where the measure of distance, what is the how we scale the measure, how far is Krishna, the infinite from us? What scale can we use, like to scale the distance from one place to another place, like physical distance, even within this universe, the time is through the sun, light year, no? How much how much it takes the light to to travel, you know, and that much distance is determined of different planets and different stars. So it is said that certain stars in this universe are so big, so far, that even they have not been spotted because the sunshine has not reached that far. And the present sun, which we are used to, or through which we experience all this scale of time, you know, distance. This could be one very tiny aspect of the total existence of this, you know, vast universe. So we hardly know enough. So our scale of measuring time could be very, 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 very small. And but what to speak about measuring the distance to infinity? Can you understand how much attitude, how much of our incapacitatedness? What are we in comparison to infinite? And we are trying to approach him and reach him. We are totally at the disposal of his mercy. And only thing in our hand is the only process shown to attract the causeless mercy of Krishna. That is through crying. So here in this sloka, this despondent, the mood of despondency is expressed by Mahaprabhu. But for sadhakas like us, in spite of feeling or expressing so much sense of despondency, he still continues. No? Is he backing out? No. So in spite of tremendous hopelessness, the charm of Krishna has so much cause so much obsession in Krishna, in Mahaprabhu, in Srimati Radharani. In spite of feeling so hopeless, hope against all hope, as Prabhupada used to say. Krishna consciousness is the hope against all hopes. We can raise that standard of what Prabhupada said to the highest standard. Attaining Sri Radha should be our hope against all hopes. Despite any disappointments or obstacles or whatever hopelessness, we have to find the hope in Sri Radha. So this is very, very amazing. So, so this is the standard of the infinite world. How we will measure or connect to it, you know, through our all the possible measurements on the mundane platform, we will fall short even to get any close. We have to transcend. We cannot depend. We cannot shelter. We cannot find shelter. Although we got the scale and we can figure out this much distance and this much time we have, we can measure up to there. No. So all is required the transcendental temperament. Only the transcendental temperament will get us near there. And we should be very encouraged. We should have the courage, actually. Encouraged and courage. See, amazing words. Encourage. Somebody has to encourage us. Or we have to have the courage. Either way, individually and collectively. Individually, one has to have the courage, and collectively, we need encouragement. Of course, self-courage, but when the word encouragement comes, it is always mostly from someone else. So we need encouragement, and we also have the courage ourselves. Correct? We have to deal with the things so great and beyond our jurisdiction. But Mahaprabhu's promise is there. No? Mahaprabhu really has come to bestow upon that otherwise utterly hopeless situation. So Mahaprabhu is our hope. So that the transcendental reminder or the vision of Mahaprabhu's baking is our only solace. Such a So this is the case. So in the beginning, at first the devotee may think that I am raised to that standard of service to attain Sri Radha Dasyam. What is the hope? If I am raised to that level, then all my fulfillment will come, correct? That keeps us going further and further. My heart will be fulfilled. My thirst will be quenched. This very, very promising thing. And I will feel some ease and satisfaction within me. But this path is very tricky, no? But the development of his devotion took him to an unexpected plane. The deeper you go, farther you go on this path, it appears like more uncertain, hopeless. This is the paradox. More advanced you become, less advanced you feel. What a paradox. It is the nature of divine love that when a drop of that medicine is given to a hankering patient, our position is like a hankering patient for that medicine. And what happens? The patient thinks he is cured, but if he thinks like that, he is put in a more dangerous position. Can you imagine this? Can we imagine this? Of course, fulfillment is there, but ultimately, as we say again, until we are transferred to that realm, literally, with the treasure or with the grant of the body or the form is a kinkari of Srimati Radharani. We haven't got anything yet, as yet. So even the joy of feeling in sadhana or in this fervor of Krishna consciousness, in this Raganuga Bhakti, even one drop of that medicine to our, some relief comes. Very thirsty person, if he gets little water, it feels like, oh, what a tremendous. But can he settle there? Can he be fulfilled just by that little drop? No. He's put in a more hopeless situation, in a dangerous position. He thinks, seeing the devotees shedding tears incessantly, the hairs of their bodies standing on end, their voices choked up while chanting the name of Krishna. What are the sloka? Sloka number 5. In the beginning of Bhava stage. What was those? Nayanam galadashrudharya, sixth sloka, na? Just the last sloka. Nayanam galadashrudharya, vadanam gadagada ruddhaya gira, pulakari nichitam vapu kada, tava nama grahani bhavishyati, expressing the joy when that position will be mine. So it's very tempting. Chanting the name of Krishna, I was charmed. Those symptoms attracted me, and I thought that I could, I could attain this, in the euphoria of feeling the joy of Krishna consciousness, feeling the emotion, the expressing of the joy through dancing, chanting, singing, and so much atmosphere. Yes, I thought I could attain it. I would feel real satisfaction. But upon attaining this plane of Bhava Bhakti, an intense Bhava Bhakti prema, what do I find? I find just the opposite. So these two slokas, which are beyond our this hope of only feeling the joyfulness, the stage of love, this feeling of separation will be very excruciating pain, like poison. Of course, inside is the highest level of nectar. So when poison and nectar, they are combined and administered to us, what happens? This poison, regular poison, would cause the death of the body and the pain will be over, correct? But because of the mixing of the nectar, the body is not able to die. So one has to experience the pain, simultaneously experiencing the joy or bliss of the nectar. So that is the position. One may feel, one may thought that yes, I would feel real satisfaction, but upon attaining this plane of love or bhava, what do I will find? Mahaprabhu is saying, I find just the opposite, coming into real connection with the infinite. This is a real connection. What is a real connection? That no other connection actually exists, but the hopelessness has engulfed him. Of course, no other connection exists, so there is no other place to take resort or take shelter. But the only shelter which one has hankered after attained, it appears hopeless. Just think of the situation. Coming into real connection with the infinite, he feels hopeless. Previous to this level, what is our general appreciation? Coming into real connection with the infinite, one feels very hopeful, correct? But Mahaprabhu is saying, coming into real connection with the infinite, at that level, he feels hopeless. He thinks there is no limit to progress, how far I have to go to attain Krishna. Rather, as much as I come in intimate connection with the infinite, I feel hopeless. The more I try and hanker for Krishna, more helpless he appears. It appears to me. The more we advance, the more we find it unlimited. And finding it unlimited, we become hopeless. But we cannot turn back. There is no possibility of retracting our steps. We can only go ahead. This is the spirit. This is the real spirit. This is the spirit of a genuine devotee. So Mahaprabhu is exposing to us through his expression that we also may have to face this situation and what we should be ready for, and even in that condition we should pass the test and not succumb to hopelessness. Krishna is far, far away from me. So this is because Krishna is infinite. Infinite are his characteristics, you know. So we cannot leave him. We cannot leave and not continue hankering after him, you know. Although we do feel hopeless, but what else is our option? Hope against all hope. So this sloka of 760, as we in the very beginning time of our connecting to Krishna consciousness through the Western devotees in Los Angeles. So this 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 statement that Krishna consciousness is the hope against all hope. At that level, how much we appreciate it. It just sounds good, you know. Many statements in the beginning, first time we heard this sound great. Yes, yes, we have to continue. Krishna consciousness is our hope against all hopes. But see the level, to what level our appreciation can be raised through the help of Mahaprabhu's appreciation or through our appreciating this sloka of Mahaprabhu. Krishna consciousness is definitely our hope, even in the midst of all hopelessness. The highest kind of nectar is just before me, correct? We have been educated in the tattva of Krishna, in the rasa of Krishna, in the leelas, pastimes of Krishna, everything. But when it comes to our own participation, one has to go through this tremendous realm of separation, feeling of separation, feeling of the highest kind of nectar is right in front of us, and it is within my reach, correct? It is within, Krishna is as if within my reach, and what I find, but I can't have it. I cannot taste it. Could be so close, it's still so far. Krishna is so close because we are so obsessed with Krishna. And still, in reality, Krishna appears so far. He is just before me, but I cannot taste it. I'm unable to touch it or get it in my feast. Krishna is within my reach. But still, Krishna's charm is so great that I cannot retreat. I cannot go back from this entanglement with him. We are too entangled. Is it a praise or is it a bad situation? Rather, we can gaze our position. We are not sufficiently entangled with Krishna as yet. But in order to experience, we are too entangled with Krishna, we have to become that much entangled with Krishna and free ourselves from all other entanglements. So there is tremendous way for us to go, but it should not discourage us. But we should move forward because the feeling of love of Krishna, which is being expressed here, should be so tempting, should be so encouraging that in spite of this expression of such a hopelessness on this path, on the way, the hope for the ultimate thing cannot die. And so Mahaprabhu is preparing us on this path of pure devotional service, and ultimately how we perfect our hankering, how to attain the perfection of our crying. Krandanam yadi janasi kim dure karunadamam. Although Krishna appears very far because we are very far from Krishna, you know. But when Krishna starts appearing to us as very far, you know, that would be a real progressiveness, real progress. When Krishna starts appearing very far to us, although we want to become so close to Krishna, correct? When we want to, we crave to be close to Krishna, to be able to touch him, to be able to grab his lotus feet, to be able to. But when he appears very far, that would be a very wonderful thing. So, in the sadhana stage, as we said, one should think that one is far away from Krishna, so that I would not blame Krishna, that Krishna is very far. See that? See how the position changes for the sadhaka. To think that I am very far away from Krishna because I am so fallen. I don't have any love or attraction for Krishna. From that stage to be able to feel Krishna is so far away from me. That is possible in the stage of love. But at the present stage, I think, oh, Krishna is very far because, oh, Krishna doesn't care, so why should I care? See, the context of the statement changes. So the study of Sikshastakam at different stages of our devotional development will appear differently. So without Mahaprabhu saying that Krishna's charm is so great that I cannot retreat from this entanglement. And without that, I cannot go back. Situation appears hopeless. In that situation, one moment appears like 12 yugas. Small span of time seems like millennium, millions of years. The devotee thinks, oh, long, long ago, long ages have passed away. Still, I am in want. I'm still bereft of it. I'm trying to get it, but I can't get it. And time is passing. Time is passing, truly. You know, in that, I'm just again reminded of that. It's a very beautiful joke. So I can share. You may have heard this. So within the distance, how far is Krishna from us? You know, so there's a joke about it. I may have shared with some of you, but those I have not shared with, I can. So there was a king who was very pious, religious, and he was very fond of hearing Krishna Katha. So he would invite many all the stalwarts, and he became very much interested in Vaikuntha, abode of the Lord. So he asked all of those whom he sponsored to provide his support for their maintenance, everything, that you have given me so much katha and glorified the abode of the Lord, Vaikuntha, Golok Vrindavan, whichever, whatever. So I want to know what is the distance from here, from my palace to Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. And I want to know this. It's a very strange question. So all the pandits and stalwarts, they say, oh, what kind of strange question is this? You know, they could not, basically, they could not give the reply, satisfactory reply to king. And the king said, well, I have supported you and I have sponsored you. I never asked you any question. If you cannot give me, then what is the need? Why should I keep sponsoring you? I will stop the perks and all the facilities I have been providing you. So all the pandits and the stalwart kathakas, or even devotees even, they became perturbed. They became very, I give you 1 week. You give me the proper answer because you are so learned in the scriptures. And if I have this, so is this a good inquiry, first of all? Because we don't want to take this in a joking form, but the joke will crack eventually. And in a very positive sign. So everybody is, well, if we are not able to give the answer. So one of the Pandits, he was also getting a lot of support from the king. And he said, well, if I cannot find the answer, I will be fired. So he was in anxiety. A devotee, one who studies and recites Bhagavatam, should he have anxiety for his maintenance? They describe that, oh, Krishna takes care of even the small insect, the elephant. Nobody goes hungry in his creation like this. But the Pandit himself, who professes such glory of Krishna, he himself is so concerned about his own maintenance. Anyway, he's going from one place to another. He goes to the neighboring village or state, and he knows some people. And one of the person, the cobbler, he asks some advice. He buys the shoes from him, and if some shoes need some repair, he does it. So he went to that, and he had some work, maybe some repair of his shoes. But the cobbler showed a face of concern on Pandit, because whenever some question or some issue cobbler had, he would ask the Pandit or the devotee, okay, what should I do? And Panditji will give advice to others. When it comes to give advice to others, we are very expert, correct? But when we ourselves are in dilemma, we may not be able to give the proper advice to oneself. Just like when a patient, even if a doctor is sick, he takes the help of other doctors rather than trying to cure himself. Something like that. So the cobbler notices Panditji, Prabhuji, why are you so worried? You free me from the worries, but right now you are in worry. Pandit said, well, this king has just made this question like this. So strange thing he's asking. So the cobbler says, oh, what is the question? Can you ask me? Can you tell me? So he said, oh, he's asking me a question. What is the distance from my palace to the Vaikuntha, the abode of the Lord? Because I want to go there. So time scale calculation came again, but everybody thinks if he can measure the distance to Vaikuntha, abode of the Lord, through his mundane calculation of this, calculating the distance. So the cobbler says, oh, I know the answer. I know the answer. Pandit, you really know the answer? If you have the right answer, if you can convince the king, then I will get continuous support from the king. Yes, take me to the king. So are you sure? Yes, I can satisfy the query, this query of the king. So he takes the cobbler along with him and goes to the palace and say, so Pandit, the so-called devotee, he thought, oh, he wanted to establish if the cobbler is able to satisfy the king, then the Pandit can ridicule the king. King, such an ordinary question you ask, even the cobbler can give the answer to. So I didn't want to give this answer to you, king, because it's such a silly question. You understand what I'm. So okay, you go. So the cobbler comes, and the king puts him in a very respectful position. He said, okay, what is the answer? He said, very easy. Krishna's abode or Vaikuntha is within calling distance. Vaikuntha is within calling distance. And king says, what are you talking? What is calling distance? Yes, sir. The kingdom of God is within calling distance. See, Draupadi called out Krishna, Govinda, and Krishna appeared. That Gajendra called Natha. It is said that he could only utter Na, Tha. Tha was still remaining, and the Krishna appeared in front of him. So Krishna is non-different from his abode, correct? So Krishna is within calling distance. The abode of the Lord is within calling distance. That much expertise, in spite of reciting so many times Bhagavatam and study, that faith he could not gain to be able to tell the king, yes, Krishna is within calling distance. The distance from your palace to Vaikuntha is within calling. But can you cry? Can you call out really? Do you call out? Do we cry out for Vaikuntha? There is a question to be asked of all of us. Krishna is far, far away from me. So what is the way? There has to be some means to attain Krishna. Krandanam yadi janasi kim dure. But if you know how to cry for him, then he comes within our reach rather than he comes within our reach. Because the charm is so great that I cannot retreat from this entanglement. And without that, a small span of time seems millions of years. The devotee thinks, yes, long, long time has passed away. Still I'm in want. I'm trying to get it, but I cannot get it. And time is passing. Time is also infinite. So many rivers of tears take birth in my eyes. Tears profusely run down my eyes over my body, but I don't find the position of success within my reach. Again, the reach comes. My mind is fully vacant. I cannot find any trace of my future. Such utter hopelessness. I have no charm. I have no attraction for anything else but that might seem to console this diseased body. I find no possibility of solace from any other quarter. All alternatives have been eliminated. I am fully in the clutches of Krishna, or Krishna consciousness. I'm so stuck, I'm too entangled to be able to come out. Not only able to come out, I cannot come out. even if I were to come out, I cannot come out. That means I cannot come out. Maybe one day we will be able to say like that and feel like that. If there is anyone who can come to my relief, help me, help. I am helpless. If there is anyone who can help me, please come to my rescue. Then the rescue comes. In that much desperation, one is crying out. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that when we are deeply situated in love of Krishna, we cannot leave it. That is the message. We cannot leave it. But our thirst increases and we feel no satisfaction. We are in the midst of such an apparently horrible position. Horrible position is in our offing on the way. But this should not dissuade or this should not discourage us. So we have to go beyond it. Why to face it? No. It's worth facing anything because Mahaprabhu has certified if we desire enough, we will get what he has come to give us. So with the backing and the support of Mahaprabhu, our hope against all hope, we can transcend even this apparently would be horrible position. The hankering for Krishna which awakens in one's mind takes this direction. This is the way, this is the nature, and we are educated, we are just, it's like a training in hypothesis or simulation. In simulation, what happens? One is given the training, one is put hypothetically in a particular precarious position or panicking situation. Panic is not there, but one is put as if one is in panic situation. Then the training is given how one would react. If the training is not given, then if the panic situation actually comes, then one just falls out. We cannot afford to fall out. That's why the teachings of Mahaprabhu, especially in this sloka, is training us in that simulation that yes, on the way to attain the ultimate perfection of our fulfillment of human potential, of attaining Radha Dashyam, we will go through this stage, but this should not cause us falling out. We cannot leave it. But our thirst increases and we feel no satisfaction. So apparently, we may be in a horrible position, but even that should not dissuade us. The hankering for Krishna which awakens in one's mind takes this direction. When a devotee really comes in connection with Krishna, his position will be all eliminating. Yes, nothing else but Krishna, nothing else. No other proposition of this world or even the spiritual world can give us any solace. His complete concentration will be on Krishna. So in this verse, the devotee is determined to isolate Krishna to such an extent that Krishna finds no other place but to think of this devotee. Through our consciousness, we have the capacity. We can become so Krishna conscious in obsession that we cause Krishna's obsession in us, and then Krishna cannot stay away from us for very, very long. So in this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes how a devotee goes further and further, awakens a higher conception of Krishna, and then seeing Krishna just before him. Yes, Krishna is so close because of the obsession for Krishna. But at the same time finding, oh, he's not there, I cannot get him. So when you feel in the consciousness or in the heart so close to Krishna, and still that object of your heart's hankering or obsession remains unavailable, such feeling of separation, the agony of such feeling of separation is experienced. The more he progresses, the more he finds himself in this position of hopelessness. So this highest advice. So in this condition, Mahaprabhu has left one advice for us. What is advice? Advice is that we will be all lost in Krishna consciousness. We are still surfacing, correct? Lost means we have to drown. We have to become drowned, And you will be drowned. I will be drowned. You are going to be lost or drowned in Krishna consciousness. And what will be your position? We will realize that we are just a drop. And a drop, like an insect in the waves of the river, can be tossed here and there. Still, we will reach our destination because our charm of the destination is too good, too lucrative, too obsessive that we don't mind facing any situation in between. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. We went 5 minutes over time. Time is as if contracted. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your attentive listening. If anybody has any question or any appreciation for Mahaprabhu's mercy, please come forward and Hare Krishna.
Pranam Shri Guru, Hare Krishna. Absolutely wonderful satsang. Every time I hear your lecture, Shri Guru, I actually feel ashamed of myself. And like no symptoms, nothing. You say Jaladashudhara. We should cry for Krishna. Shri Guru, what? It's so difficult. Like if I sit for chanting also, it's like what to make, what to prepare for lunch. All those thoughts are running, and Shri Guru, after hearing this, I feel really I don't know anything, what to do, how to do. But Shri Guru, only I know that I beg for your kripa and your mercy, Shri Guru. Thank you so much for wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam.
Hare
I have
Krishna. Welcome.
absolutely no qualification, Shri Guru, to speak any words of appreciation for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even even no qualifications to speak anything in appreciation for you as well, Shri Guru. But when we listen to you, Shri Guru, it's so beautiful, and every every katha is ever fresh in its own way. No matter how many times we listen to you, it's just everything is new. Every time we listen that, okay, this meaning of das is actually being slave of the slave of the slave of the supreme personality of Godhead. It is amazing, Shri Guru. And the way you explained that we have to we have to master this art of begging, that who we are begging from, and we beg so nicely that they give it to us. And then the way you explain the pinnacle of Krishna Prem, it is amazing, Shri Guru. Like this pinnacle of Krishna Prem is Radha Dasyam. We would never have comprehended this without your mercy, Shri Guru. Even if we come across in our reading while reading books, while reading some purports, articles, if we would have come across this fact, we would have just ignored it and went on. But you always emphasis on it, Shri Guru, and you always takes us one step closer to this Radha Dasyam. For that we are ever Kritagya, Shri Guru. Please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
There is a difference between ignoring and overlooking. Ignoring is impossible for a sadhaka. Overlooking is. So we have to address the overlooking. Yeah, we could have overlooked because our appreciation for Krishna consciousness may not have reached to that level that we notice it that far. So you would have not ignored it. One may say one may have overlooked it. That is quite possible.
Yes,
Even at this level, how much there's so much depth. Can one say that one has covered everything? So many things may have been overlooked. That's why we are still want to feel thirsty that more and more we can connect. There is no question of ignoring, but overlooking that possibility we have to minimize.
yes, Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam. If anybody would like to speak anything, please kindly unmute.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Guru, it's very difficult for me to speak up, but I will try to put at least somewhat into words. Amazing how you elaborate on on every single voice, and not just for 1 hour, but for 2 hours, for 3 hours, and still it is not enough to listen to you. And today you mentioned, and also previously you mentioned, and books mentioned it, the importance of falling in love with the spiritual master and with Krishna and with Radharani. But I wonder how does it happen? How can I fall in love? If you could kindly address that. Hare Krishna.
Well, hardly we find in this material world. So this difference I want to establish. Do we ever, did one ever hanker that one falls in love with someone in particular? On the material world, this never happens. Nobody even hankers. If I can fall in love with this Rajkumar or this Rajkumari, this prince or princess, because only the person, eventually or whenever one falls in love, and that appears, that becomes the prince or princess of one's heart, depending on who or whom. Did you ever hear that somebody hankered for falling in love with someone? So what you have expressed today is very unique. So it has to be only on the spiritual platform. On a spiritual platform, we hanker to fall in love with Krishna. We hanker to fall in love with those who are Krishnas. Correct? And that's a beautiful hankering. Continue. Because that hankering or the fulfillment of that hankering will certify our attaining the perfection or the highest perfection of our human potential. And there is nothing wrong in it. Desiring or hankering of that nature alone will take us all the way. We haven't desired or hankered or aspired for that on the material platform, in the material world since eternity. So this question actually one step further than Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says, Sa eva sadhushu krito moksha dvaram apavritam. Sa eva sadhushu krito, correct? If one develops the same attachment for a sadhu or a pure devotee, then his door to attaining the Supreme or meeting Krishna opens. That just gives one guideline or one principle. But the question you have asked is one step further. That is what is to be done. So how to become attached to a pure devotee, how to fall in love with a pure devotee, that is not described. So in Bhagavatam is given direction. Yes, when you become attached to a pure devotee, the path or the door for meeting Krishna opens. But how to develop, how to, or when the desire to fall in love, one can desire to fall in love with one person only, correct? There is no question of falling in love with more than one. So even the hankering to be able to fall in love with one is so amazing. So what is not possible on the material platform, it has never happened. We never heard anybody ever in the time since eternity unto this moment you ask this question. So how unique is your question? Can you imagine? Nobody hankered like that on the material platform. Only on the spiritual platform, somebody may, and you are doing this. So it is very praiseworthy. May Srimati Radharani, may Mahaprabhu cause the cause the wine of your this divine aspiration bear fruit quickly. That's all I have to say. Pray to Mahaprabhu, pray to Srimati Radharani. They are definitely capable to cause that fulfillment of your heart's aspiration. All right? So this draws a clear difference between hankering on the material platform, which never exists. It can only possible or doable only on the spiritual platform. Because on material platform, nobody ever hankered like this. One may hanker to find a prince or a princess or beautiful partner, whatever, but nobody hankered ever since peak to be able to fall in love with someone or anyone. Do you know anybody? So we appreciate your novel hankering. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shri Guru. Pranam.
Say Swamini Matayastu. Welcome. All right. Everybody has put so much time. We appreciate your participation. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
जब भी बोलने का प्रयास करती हूँ, डर,
इस,
संकोच,
हाँ, इसे तो इंग्लिश में बोल सकती हो.
नहीं.
Can you try? नहीं. Okay.
घबराहट में तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं. हर दिन ही जैसे पहली बार न्यू समथिंग, दिव्य का एहसास बिल्कुल नया. अद्भुत सत्संग, हर एक बात, हर एक शब्द इतना कनेक्ट किया, इतना हृदय को स्पर्श किया, चमत्कृत किया. आपका गुणगान करने के योग्य तो नहीं, ना महाप्रभु का गुणगान करने के योग्य, ना स्वामिनी का गुणगान करने के योग्य. श्रीमती राधा रानी इज सो ग्रेट, ग्रेटर एंड ग्रेटेस्ट. एक गीत आपके लिए गाओ.
Sure.
परम करुणा एक श्री गुरु जना, श्री गुरु रूप स्वामी, सब अवतार सर शिरोमणि, केवल आनंद धामा. भजो भजो मैं श्री गुरु चरण सुदृढ़ विश्वास कोरी विषय छड़िया तार कृपालया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि देखो रे मन त्रिभुवन नाई ए मन दयाल दाता पापी तापी उद्धारे हृदय उजारे शून्यतर गुण गाथा संसार मजिया रोहिली परिया श्री गुरु पद नहिलो आशा अपन अपराधे डूबिली अभागे कहे दीन दासी। और तो क्या कहूँ, आचार्यों के भजन ही सिखाता है कि कैसे ग्लोरीफाई करते हैं। और इतनी अयोग्य, कुछ कहने के लायक भी नहीं। हृदय जो झूमता ही जाए, जो एहसास मिले आपके संग, ओढ़ी मैं तो चुनर देखो श्री गुरु रे नाम रे छम छमा छम तारा चमके प्रेम के ही नाम रे नीलांबर ओढ़ी चुनर में तो स्वामिनी रे नाम रे छम छमा छम तारा चमके प्रेम के ही नाम रे कोई ओढ़े अनुराग रंग, कोई ओढ़े स्वर्ण रंग, ओढ़ी मैं तो चुनर देखो श्री गुरु रे नाम रे घूंघट की आड़ में देख ना पाई मैं, जो घूंघट लगा हृदय के आईने के सामने, स्पष्ट होगा ही कृपा से जिनके इंतजार करूंगी हर दिन मैं। अपने इस बाल्य दासी को रखो चरणों में, दूर ना जाओ तुम, यही एक पुकार। नगण्य जो हूँ मैं तो फिर भी कोई रखे मुझे स्वीकारे, हर वाणी आपकी जो मिश्री जैसी लगती है, मिश्री सुमीठी बाता थारी, मन है प्रेम को झरना सा, चिंतन से भी दूर ना जाओ, मिश्री 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 ओ। भजो पतित उद्धारण श्री गुरु स्वामिनी, श्री गुरु स्वामिनी वृंदावन महारानी। ऐसो ऐसो गुरुदेवी कोरी निवेदन, एबे दिन दासिर हृदय करो आगमन। श्री गुरु स्वामिनी सखी गणे कोरी बेन गमान, आनंदते हृदय छे दासी प्रेमांजना। अमर
Is she audible?
Yes, Shri Guru.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We will all unmute and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum 3 times in order to glorify our dear Shri Guru with love. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare.
Call out from our hearts, Param Pujya His Divine Grace, Shri Swamini Kripa Murti, Shri Srimad Bhakti Swarup Govind Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai, Jai, Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. Next sitting coming Saturday, we will open many internal aspects of this seventh sloka. It can have multiple sittings, but whatever in contemplation and study we'll gather, we'll try to increase our appreciation, this wonderful expression of Mahaprabhu, and like that. So thank you everyone for participating and creating this wonderful atmosphere. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare Bol.
Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Shri Guru. Hare Krishna.
Swamini Matiyastu. Welcome everyone.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Anande,
Pranam Shri Guru.
Hari 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 Bol.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All right. Hari Hari Bol. We'll see you just in 1 hour or 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour in the Kirtan, correct? Is it just 1 hour? Almost, yeah. Okay. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.